Hello, my name is Jason McKee. Today we're going to be giving you a presentation about country of origin labeling, also known as COOL, and the consumer. For my feasibility project, I looked at whether or not it was feasible to reintroduce the country of origin labeling policy for beef and pork products in the United States and how that would affect consumers, producers, and packers. So, to begin with, I'll ask you this question. How many pounds of pork and beef does the average consumer eat on an annual basis? Well, according to MarketWatch.com, the average consumer eats 104 pounds of pork and beef every year. That's a lot of meat. However, what the consumer may not know is where that pork and beef is coming from. The labels that you'll see on the store today do not define clearly where that animal was born, where it was raised, and where it was processed, whether it was in the United States or whether it came from another country. So, to begin, we need to talk about what COOL is. What is country of origin labeling? And second, we're going to talk about why it was repealed by the United States Congress in 2015. And third, we're going to talk about what you and I can do as consumers to better educate ourselves about country of origin labeling. So, begin with what is COOL? COOL is a policy that was passed in 2002 as part of the Farm Bill that was designed to put a very clear label on all produce coming out of the United States that would say where that product came from. And this included fruits, vegetables, nuts, seafood, fish, pork, beef, chicken, everything. The idea behind this was that by better educating consumers in the United States, that it would help promote agriculture in the United States, and that we would prefer to buy products that were born and raised here in the US versus products that were imported from other countries. So if you look at this next slide, you can see on the label that product was born, raised, and harvested in the United States. That was the idea behind the country of origin labeling. However, not everybody necessarily agreed with that policy. Several years later, in 2015, Canada and Mexico filed a lawsuit against the United States on behalf of the World Trade Organization to actually repeal this mandatory country of origin labeling. They thought that by labeling products as United States born and bred, raised, that it would give the United States preferential treatment over products that were imported from Canada and Mexico. So in 2015, they filed a lawsuit and they won. And the World Trade Organization decided that the United States would have to pay a fine of $1 billion a month until all of the labels were changed in the United States. So on our next slide, you can see the label that says product of USA, Mexico, and Canada. This was the label that we decided to go with, and this is the label that we still have today. So now at packing plants, they're basically taking all of the animals, whether they're raised in the United States, in Mexico, Canada, they put them all together, they process them, and they put one generic label on them that says that they're from North America. And consumers really don't have a good idea as to where that animal came from. This had a devastating effect on a lot of the agriculture in the United States because now packers are able to import produce from other countries at a lower price and sell it for a premium. They make a lot more money while farmers and ranchers in the United States are suffering. So when they made this decision, they only decided to change pork and beef. That all of the other fruits, vegetables, and products of the U.S. still have a country of origin label on them, but beef and pork were the only two that they decided not to have this label. So what can you and I do as a consumer to help better understand this country of origin label? Well, the primary thing that we can do is read and understand labels. Whether at the grocery store or at a restaurant, buying, eating, consuming, look at the labels, learn, read the labels. There's still produce out there that is labeled locally. It'll say product of Colorado, product of Wyoming, whatever. Look at those labels, support those companies. Next, you need to ask where your pork and beef originated from. Talk to your butcher, talk to the restaurant owner, ask them, where did this come from? And if they don't know, it's probably a bad idea. Third is getting in the habit of supporting your local farmers and ranchers. Hop in your car, drive down the road, talk to the local farmers and ranchers, ask if you can buy their produce directly from them and help support them. The research that I found was that over 90% of consumers would like to know where their produce comes from. However, the United States Congress decided that that was not important, that trade between Canada and Mexico is more important than what you and I deem necessary as a consumer. So, in summary, the three things that we covered today were what is cool, why was it repealed in 2015, and lastly, what you and I can do as consumers to better inform ourselves. And I'd like to leave you with one last note as you go and buy your next product at the grocery store. No farmers, no food. Thank you.